What's good, everyone? What is good? Welcome back to the channel with yours truly, of course, Mac. Hope y'all having a great today. If it's your first time to the channel, what is good? My name is Mac. Welcome to my new LP. Yeah, let's get straight into it. So this is this is the new LP for the new expansion pack, Cottage Living. Quick disclaimer: if by any chance while I'm doing this, my game glitches or you see it freezes on me, just note that my game is two updates behind, so I didn't do the July update because I knew that there was gonna be another update for the Cottage Living, and I still had some stuff to do, so I didn't do that one. So my game is really broken right now. So if you see it stuttering, that's why it really needs an update. But anyways, let's resume. Yeah, a little bit about me. So hello, my name is Malik. I go by Mac on, of course, YouTube. I am, of course, simmer. My type of simming is I'm a very story based type of sims. I love my sims to have personalities, a backstory, type of goal. I like making them, real life people, if that makes any sense. Um, but I do it in a natural way, in my best type of way. Like, of course, I'll guide it. Of course, I'll do it. But most of the stuff I do is based off of my Sims' actions, so it kind of makes it very spontaneous. I love it. But, anyways, you'll see it if you continue watching. So if that's what you're into, stay tuned. Yeah, so let's get straight into it, y'all. I'm so excited. I've been thinking about this backstory and this LP for so long, and I can't believe we're a day away. So I'm uploading this on the Wednesday, and then the first episode will be on Thursday. So this is like the prologue, episode 0. I was doing episode 0. This is just a part where I tell you guys the backstory of the characters. I also tell you the storyline that we're gonna go off with, a little bit about the sim, and so you just get to, like, just so when the first episode comes in, we can just come straight into gameplay, and all that good stuff. Now I will say though, this is the main sim right now. We actually have 4 main characters. For now, our main character is Cornelius Manel. This is him right here. He is a teenager, and yes, these are actually his siblings. Again, we'll get to how he has his siblings in a hot second, but this is him. He is lazy, a music lover. Fun fact, I actually don't know his personality wise, mainly being because I have not played with him before. So I think as we play, we're gonna see what type of person he is. I'd randomized everything. These are actually what he was born with. He's an in-game sim, so I didn't like create him or anything. No, like 2 sims. Oh god, it froze on me. But anyways, 2 sims gave birth to this child right here. Ooh, this not looking good. See, I need to update my game. I should have done this last night, but I was so lazy. But oh no, it's going so bad. But I'll keep it going. Hopefully, honestly, I'll probably just take a screenshot and then I'll use that as from now on. If it does cut out on me, I'll just use a screenshot. Um, but anyways, caption. So yeah, I was supposed to do this last night, but I got super lazy. I thought I'll do it in the morning, but I just remembered that today was patch day, and yeah. But moving on from that, we have a big story. So yeah, this is him. These are his likes and dislikes. I randomized everything, so I don't even know what he likes or dislikes. This is him. I will not go through his outfits because I'm pretty sure my game's gonna die on me. So we're just gonna leave it at that. These are his siblings. It says cousin for now, but I'll fix that. Thea. Yeah, I'll fix their last names. Don't worry about that. But these are his actual siblings. Thea. We have Milo, and we have Cleo. So now let's get to know how. Well, let's get to his backstory. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this as simple and sweet as possible. So get yourself some popcorn, get yourself a drink. We got some explaining to do. And begin. So this is Cornelius. What a bougie name. He goes by Nell though. Um, People call him Nelius, but he just goes by Nell. Short and simple. He was actually adopted when he was a baby. He was adopted into this, at the time, well, spoiler, but at the time, a really nice household. They just actually ended up, they actually just had a daughter a few years ago. Well, no, like what, a year ago they had a daughter. And so They wanted a son. They've been trying. It never happened. So they went ahead and decided to adopt Cornelius when he was just a little babe. But then, literally a year after having him, they ended up having their boy that they wanted. And so Scream was a three kid household. So anyways, growing up, it was actually pretty good for him. He loved his brothers and sisters, until like around 5 years old. Things started to change. I guess as they grew up, a few things happened. The first thing that happened was he started getting blamed for stuff he never did. So his younger brother was a troublemaker, and he would always do stuff like, spill stuff or break stuff. And every time that happened, he would always blame it on Nell. And without any discussion, they would always punish him for it. Even if Nell said it wasn't him, they would never believe him. And it kind of got to Nell. So that happened. And then also at the time, they started like doing less for him. Like, for example, when you go back, like, the first day of school, you go like shopping for stuff, they would buy him less stuff. If they were going grocery shopping and the kids wanted something, they would get the other kid something and he wouldn't get what he wants. Or if they got 4 things, he got 1 thing. He would just always start getting a less and less. And as it grew up, it got worse. Christmas time came, he got less presents. Vacations come, they stopped taking him on vacation. Photographs started, like family photos, they started excluding from the family photos. They just started really, separating him from the family. And from a young age, he knew that they weren't his biological parents. They made it very known, through arguments when they had with him, saying, always putting this pressure like, oh, we shouldn't have got you, and oh, your mother didn't want you, this and that. They'd always say these little digs, and then apologize for it after. But yeah, so he knew from a young age that he was an adopted child. So going on from that, it actually was going, like, not say well, but he survived. He survived. He actually got really into his studies because of that. I feel like he realized that he kind of was on his own, and if he wanted to make it, he had to be smart. So he got to his books. He's a very smart person. Yeah, he's lazy, but he's incredibly smart too. And so as he was growing up, again, since his adopted parents started, separating himself and pretty much creating like a divide of like, it never really felt like a family. He stopped looking at his brothers and sisters like brothers and sisters. They just came like friends and whatever. And the only person in the house that kind of treated him well, actually not kind of, did treat him well, was the oldest daughter. And he actually ended up developing a crush for her while they were growing up. It was a subtle. At first, he was kind of mad at himself for having it because, that's quote unquote his sister. But then as they grew up, 12, 13, he kind of realized that, they're not blood related. He doesn't think of her as a sister anyways. And she kind of like reciprocated it too. So one thing led to another, and one day on her 13th birthday, as a present, he gave her a kiss. And so they kind of started secretly, weirdly date. It was weird. They just secretly, they didn't even do anything. They just like kissed each other on the cheek and hugged each other. It was very, very, very cute. And so that's what they did for about a year. And then when he turned around, then probably like around his close to be 14th birthday, that's when everything went to shit. So it was pretty much the week of destruction, pretty much. So first it happened, he got blamed for something again he didn't do. His little brother, the little guy in the house did it, and he got blamed for it, and he didn't take that. So he, of course, defended his case, and when they said it was his fault, he yelled back at them, and of course that was kind of like strike one. And so he kind of let that go at the end of the day, even though he got punished for something he didn't do. Then the dad caught him hugging, embracing his daughter, and of course he got mad at that and blamed everything on him, saying how he was taking advantage of his sister, which he said they're not sisters anyways. And that was another row that happened. And then what really, tipped everything over the edge and caused mass destruction was Cleon. One day he was out with his little brother, of course, because he had to, and his little brother ended up stealing something. And so when his little brother got caught, he blamed it and said pretty much, Nell told him to do it. and if he didn't do it, then he was gonna punch him. And so everyone, they got the cops involved, saying how Nell was being abusive and this and that. And Nell was trying to plead his case, but they ended up taking him away because the father had quote unquote the last straw, and they just couldn't deal with him anymore. So he went ahead and shipped him off to child services, who ended up shipping him off to an orphanage, which he would stay from 14, 15 to literally the beginning of his 16th year. And so at that time, he finally, when he was 16, he finally was able to get into, while he was, let me go back a second, because while he was going through the different orphanage, he was going through so much different scenarios. He got blamed for some stuff he didn't do. He had to, beat people up that he didn't want to beat up to survive. He developed all these natural skills to prepare himself in life. But also with that, he also, got this nurturing skill. He would always take care of the kids. He'd always make sure the kids are fed. He'd always look out for people. He grew that, that sense of family. Maybe because he never had a family or no one to stick up for him. He realized that he didn't want that for the kids, so he stuck up for them. Which again, he got him into trouble. But that's the type of person he just ended up being, And so he ended up finally at the age of 16 getting into a nice orphanage, or should I say a group home, where it was actually in the close to the same neighborhood that he was raised in. And he ended up actually getting a scholarship because of how smart he was. He ended up getting a scholarship to go back to the school that to this grand high school that he was supposed to go to if he was still in the other household. So he ended up getting a scholarship, going back there. He meets his ex stepsister. They reunite, they get all cutesy and dovey, and they start going out again while he's doing that. And so everything was going well for him until it time, because again, she's older than him. So graduation came, and honestly, he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He really didn't know what he wanted to accomplish in the world yet. While she knew that she wanted to do this and that, he knew nothing. And so that kind of drove them apart, and she ended up dumping him, sadly. And then it rolled around to being his graduation time. He ended up graduating. Of course, they couldn't keep anymore. He got sent out, and he ended up moving into a trailer house. Honestly, he was so smart, but he just didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. And so he decided to just get a trailer park and live there for now until he figured out his way. So that's pretty much where we're at. Well, where we're at, or his backstory with Nell and where he got to this place. So now we're gonna get to the storyline of this LP, just the storyline of how we got to where we are right now. So anyways, so now we'll get to it. So as you can see, we have these 3 beautiful babies, and if you want to know how they all met, let's get into it. So one glorious, beautiful day, Nell got a knock on his door. Surprisingly, knock on his door, and we opened it. He saw 3 sleeping babies. When a young, again, he's only 19 right now, so he just graduated from high school. He's kind of not really getting his life together. So when a 19-year-old sees 3 babies on his porch step with a note, he gets scared. He didn't really do anything, so he couldn't get a girl pregnant, because the only person he really did anything with was his ex. And so and I don't think she could have. So that was kind of the first thing that came to mind. Did he get some girl pregnant? What's going on? He doesn't have a long hit list, I think. So yeah, that was kind of worrisome for him. So anyways, he saw the 3 babies, he read the note, and immediately he felt this, not anger, but wariness and confusion, because the note was saying that, hey, this is your mother speaking. Oh, this is from your mother. Pretty much, the note was pretty much just telling him that this was from his mother, and that his mother gave birth to 3 kids. She couldn't take care of it, and she just needed him to take care of the kids for him. Of course, crazy like that. He didn't believe it. And then she also wrote that she left him some money, to take a DNA test to prove it. She also left some cash to help him take care of it while the DNA is being taken care of. At the end, if he doesn't want to do it, he can go ahead and leave the babies at this orphanage right here. Left the whole little address and everything, and pretty much kept it short and sweet like that. So kept it short and sweet. So of course he was confused. Could you imagine waking in the morning knowing that you're gonna beat your quote unquote possible siblings, 3 of them, 3 babies, 5 years stuff? It's a bit much. So of course, first thing he wanted to do was take them to an orphanage, because he's too young for that ish. But of course, the other image, this could be his family. He has not had any family all his life. So the chance of possibly having family, it kind of excited him, even though they were babies. It kind of excited him. So again, at that point, he decided, it couldn't hurt. I'll say, like, she left a good amount of money. I'll do the DNA test. So he went online, literally the first day, found a DNA test, contacted them. They said they'll do it, send them the money, it's packaged up, send them the samples, and sent it off. And at that time, while that was being, processed, he went ahead and was taking care of the kids, and it was hard, like, again, it's hard taking care of the babies. Again, he was just thinking, because if he was gonna do this, he was gonna have to, do all of this for the rest of his, like, for a while, take care of these possible siblings. So it was a lot of work, and he was thinking what orphans should do. And honestly, it was a lot. It was a lot for him. He had his highs, he had his lows. But when the test results did come back and he found out that they were in fact his siblings, it was like a shock for him, because again, like I said, he grew up without any family. And the fact that now, like, he kind of hated his mom, because again, he's only 19, so putting that much responsibility on him, and then the fact that he was gonna have to go ahead and, take these kids that are these babies that are his siblings to an orphanage where he knows that they could get hurt, they could get, they could get abused, all this type of stuff that could happen. It really put him in a really messed up state of mind. And it was hard. It was hard. He had to take a few days to think about it, but at the end, he what pretty much took it, what, like, gave it, like, the reason why he, kept the three, of course, as you can see, was really because he realized the struggles that he personally went through growing up, and the fact that he never had anyone that he could talk to, and the fact that he knew that if he took these three to an orphanage, and since they're babies, they're probably going to be split up, and they'd never know that they even have siblings out there, or they have a twin, and he wants to give them a better future than he can. Again, like I said, that nurturing side of him came out, and he realized it's going to be hard, it's going to be tricky, but these are his family. Like, he has family. Like, he felt like he wasn't alone anymore, He didn't feel like he was going through this world with nobody. He had these three. Yeah, they were babies, but they were his family. Like, they were his blood. And it honestly, when he got back the results, he was more happy than, like, confused or anything. He was happy to know that he wasn't alone. Like, that lonely feeling of not knowing who you are and where you belong, it felt nice to know that you have at least some people to guide you. So that ultimately made him choose to take it. So again, with the note, it said that it kept it nice and sweet. And then there was another note. There was a note that, like, in case he didn't take it, he didn't read it because he didn't want to know. But if it was a case, if he didn't, like, want the kids, then you would have to go to orphanage and give this to the lady. And if he did take the kids, there was another envelope. So we ended up reading that envelope, and that envelope pretty much stated that, just a thank you, for taking on her babies in this dreadful time. Also pretty much stating that there was money in the bank to help him start off, and that he pretty much needed to pack up his stuff and move to a different state. Why? She didn't write why. She just said it's very important. Like, she left money, she'll give you a startup, she'll help as much as she can. She even left an old number, which she did call, got nobody. So she thinks it kind of felt like it was cut off or anything, so we didn't call back or anything. But yeah, she left some money, she left some instructions on where he needs to reside and everything, which he was kind of okay with, because he was kind of tired of this trailer park. Again, he had no idea what he was gonna do with his life, so this actually kind of gave him some direction that he needed. So he actually wasn't too mad about it. He was nervous, anybody nervous of raising three kids is quite possibly, anybody would be nervous of doing that. But he was quite excited. This is a new adventure. He has family now, some people that he can help raise to be, like, his brothers and sisters. It can't, like, he was honestly quite enjoyed. So he put everything up for sale, and he went out and moved to Cottage Town. So yeah, that is pretty much where we're at with backstory. Again, it was a bit much. Hopefully I'll explained it. I'll do a tiny synopsis on episode 1, just so you guys get the rundown of it, but that's pretty much it. Now I'll tell you guys, this is like a little bit more information. So now I'm going to tell you guys why this all happened. So you got the backstory of him, you got the storyline, and now we're going to tell you why it is, because I know you guys are wondering, why did she give the kids? Why did she just why, just why she killed the kids? I know you guys are interested in that, and if you guys have watched Life of the Pearsons, I think you guys have noticed who this is. This is, well, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, but this is, oh, what's his name again? What's his name? Nicholas and Valen's adopted kid. This is Sunshine right here. This is him all grown up. Yes, we're playing with Sunshine. I can't believe it. This is him in the flesh. So, quick thing. If you want to know a bit more about why I'm doing this, I recommend you go watch the last 2 episodes of The Pearsons. It will explain a little bit more. But if you guys notice, I left little clues here and there. But so pretty much what happened was, let's zoom back a few months. So a month ago, Valen, which is his mother, got pregnant by a guy named, I can't remember his name. We're gonna call him Brandon. I really can't remember his name. But anyway, she got pregnant by a guy named Brandon. He did not know she was pregnant. She kind of set it up because she just wanted kids. She didn't want a guy in her life. She just wanted kids. That's pretty much it. So she kind of like, let's not say a setup, but she went on a trip with him. They ended up getting pregnant and they went their separate ways. Anyway, so she ended up getting pregnant just when the baby was born. Before the baby was born, actually no, midway through the pregnancy, she realized that, just having these kids, she wants to get to know her other kid. So she hired a PI to go ahead and find Nell. Not knowing who she was, what the situation was. She's always like been curious on how he's living, and now that she's doing well on her own, she well off herself, she wanted to just make sure he's okay. So she hired a PI to find him. While that was going on, fast forward a few months now, she's about to pop. Baby's pretty much about to happen. She found out she has 3 kids. She opens one day in the news. She finds out that Brandon, the guy who the baby father is, she finds out that he was murdered. Which of course put warning bells in her head, but of course she kind of, not say brushed it off, but it happens. It could have been a freak accident. She doesn't know, but she just said murdered. And so she went online, of course, and searched up, and she found articles about him. She found out who his dad was, who his dad ended up being a guy named Jarvis, who is actually not like a drug dealer. He just does some dark stuff. Fun fact, Jarvis and Valen's sister used to hook up. I know. Listen, I'm telling you guys, I did not plan this out. Fun fact, if like I said, if you go back to Life with the Pearsons, there was one time she was at the bar with this guy. He lost his head. That's why you couldn't recognize him. Yeah, he lost his hair. I couldn't recognize who he was. He was there. They just started flirting, and then it just happened. Honestly, once I realized it was him, I was so shocked. But anyways, like I said, this was totally not how this LP was supposed to go. This LP was supposed to go a whole different way. But like I said, my sins are very spontaneous. It just happens. Storylines change up all the time. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is, so yeah, she ended up finding out that he was murdered, but not only he was murdered, his sister was murdered. His sister was actually in a car when it happened. It was her and her daughter. Her daughter survived, but she actually passed it away, and she realized that something was wrong. Her baby daddy passed away. His sister passed away. What's it called again? His daughter's what's it called again? His sister's daughter almost passed away. It seemed a bit fishy. So again, she started digging even more deeper, and she found out about the rivalries between these 2 families. And she just realized that she could have possibly got her kids stuck in this. 'Cause then no one knows again that she's having this guy's baby, but again, they have money, they have power, they can figure stuff out, they can do process of elimination. He's dead now, so they're gonna want to know more to see if he has any heirs out there, and she has 3 of them. So she got worried. She started to panic a little bit. She realized that she couldn't keep her kids here with her because they would be tied to her, and she's tied to him, and so she needed to sacrifice herself and get the kids away from her. Even though she wants to be a mother, she had to do, for at least right now until everything cools off, she needed her kids to be away. So literally that next day, her PI found Cornelius and found that he was living on his own in his apartment, and she realized that she could, kill two birds with one stone, because if he's living in a trailer house, by himself, he has no money. And it sucks that she has to like bribe him to do it, but it was the only way she could think of having all her kids safe. So she went ahead, told the PI asked PI where he was. She went to his place, looked over him, literally stared at through his window and like watched him kind of creepily. Because again, that's the first time she's seen him ever in her life. So she was just staring at him. And then she dropped the babies, knocked on the door, put that, and ran. And then she watched him take up the kids and put them inside, and then she's kind of been stalking him. Like, she saw when they were crying in his house. She was just there observing if anything happened, if anyone followed them. She just had to make sure her kids were okay, all four of them. And so she actually did get the call. I guess her confirmation that everything was gonna be okay, when, do you remember I told you guys that he called the number and no one picked up? He actually got the call, and she just knew that he opened that letter and that he was gonna take her, hopefully. So she was more in ease at that point. So right now they're pretty much not really on the run type of situation. So yeah, so she ended up giving birth to mafia kids without her knowing that her baby daddy belonged to the mafia, or her baby daddy's father was not a drug lord, but just like a mafia lord type of thing. It was very confusing. She was worried, she panicked, and she shipped her kids away to their oldest brother to hopefully keep them safe in a far off place in the country. So that's pretty much the backstory. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. I am so excited to play this LP, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm out. Jesus, peace out later. I love y'all.